Grow up, child. Divine Right looked at Simmer for the last time before the ritual. He come here to gloat as well as be in your last meal. He was a monster after all. Why are you doing this to us? Screamed, only to be backhanded by Divine. And here I thought your mother taught you manners, Divine told the girl. Do you realize what you are? How special I've made you? You stupid little bitch. He got in her face. You know, your mother could have been special. I could have made her empress. Oh no, she had to go right to the commoner your father is, and have you. I needed to pay for that. Out of desperation, Shimmer threw a punch at him. Divine easily grabbed her arm and slammed her against the wall. You are a princess, even though you're hardly deserving of the name. Act like it. He backed off and looked at the pathetic thing on the floor. No, if I had my way, I want to make your mother my bride and give you as a plaything to the troops. After all, you all have commoner, so you must enjoy nothing but carnal pleasures. He looked at her as the laces mare, and a second later she saw why. She adjusted her top to glare at him. Creep! She snarled. As if a spell was broken, his glance turned to cool rage. You almost bewitched me, you little trollop, he hissed back. For a moment, never mind, you won't let it. Sarah realized why he was disgusting as he glanced. You monster! She shouted. Perhaps, he told her. But I will be a monster that rules the universe, and you will be a footnote on my path to greatness, child. It's just the way of the world, and the wolf and the weave. But don't worry. There is an afterlife. You and your mother and that pathetic fool you call a father will be reunited. You could tell him all about how good of a little whore you are. It was then that a thought occurred to Shimmer as she laughed. And what symbolistic thought, pray tell, amused you? Oh, just sad thought, she mused. I hope the last thing you see as you go down is my face. So that's what ever happened, he told her and left the cell. Sarah leaned against the wall, still in pain, looking at the food she had been brought. She didn't know how long she was going to be there, but she knew that her mother's cousin was insane, and that definitely meant that he was clearly dangerous. She reached for the cold pizza and a Sprite, then closed her eyes and remembered when she was so much younger. Daddy, look at me! Somehow, she managed to get her mother's formal gown from the closet and her tiara and gloves from the dresser. Not really understanding what they meant, she put them on and stumbled her way to her father's office. Hey, princess, you look so pretty. But does your mom know you have her stuff? Sarah shook her head no and thought she was going to be in trouble. But her father just scooped her up in his arms and said, We'll just make this our little secret then, okay? She put her arms around his neck. Love you, Daddy. Love you too, princess. Of course, hindsight was 2020, and now she realized when he called her princess, he meant it metaphorically and literally. He died a couple of years later, and now she didn't know whether that accident was genuine or had been something the Divine Right had caused in order to lay his plans towards fruition. She curled into a bundle and whispered, Daddy, if you can hear me, I need help. Mom and I need help. Of course, no answer came. It never would. Her eyes filled with tears once more. She remembered something her father told her. She was ever afraid, all she had to do was hold out her hand. Imagine what the thing she afraid was. Then remember him and close her fists. It would be magic. It would make her problem go away. She knew it was just something he said to her to make her feel better. For the first time in her life, she definitely wished it was true. She wished that when she opened her palm, there would be magic. A palm opened, and a flash of cyan energy forwarded into surrounding space. A spell completed. Sunset now looked at the open door and gasped. Really starting to win myself here, she told the other sirens. Hope this works. Arya moved next to Sunset and helped her up. Lean on me, she advised. Sunny, take point. Against what? We're the only moving things out here. That we know of, Arya told her. Take point. Roger that. She brought her M4 to the ready and went in, ready to do her job. You okay? Arya asked while Sunset leaned on her. Not really, she admitted, but I've been through far worse. I'll manage. Heh, we'll make a siren out of you yet, Sonny. I thought you were done with that after we win this. Yeah, but who says we can't start a new siren corps? We could be like the A-Team. The what? Before Arya could respond, Sanaa walked out of the building. Coast is clear, she told him. You guys could come in when you had a chance. As they walked into the Merry Witch, Sunset was both creeped out and sad at the same time. She saw harmonic conversions reading from a thick book that she probably thought contained magic. It was just some probably 18th century mumbo-jumbo. Next to her, Trixie stood, fiddling with something on her phone. Probably more of a prestidigitation that she loved so much. Sunset went over and patted her friend on the shoulder. Trixie, I wish you could know what it feels like to be actually magical. She said to the still girl, sometimes it's not all you wish it could be. You know her? Sanaa asked. Sunset nodded. This is Trixie Luamoon, one of my good friends. That's her mother, Harmonic Convergence. Mrs. Convergence is the ultimate granola-chopping hippie chick that thinks magic is real. Trixie's a stage magician and a member of the famed Luamoon family. Neither of them know that magic is real. You should tell them. The flame-haired girl shook her head. Trixie grew up in believing in magic being one way all her life. Her family's filled with generations of magicians, all to entertain her. What if I told her magic was real, and she couldn't use it? Do you know if that would devastate her? Probably less than anything that would devastate these two. Both looked over to see Sanaa, who was buying book section. Sunset walked over and rolled her eyes. Leaning against one of the bookshelves, across from a disused broom, two girls were in the middle of a lip lock. Celeste tears one's Lyra heartstrings, the other one's Bonbon. As you could guess, they're girlfriends. Lyra works for Mrs. Convergence here in the shop. Plus, from what I understand, Lyra and Trixie almost have the same kind of relationship Twilight and I do. They love each other dearly. I can't tell, Arya said, looking at Lyra's left hand, which was currently in Bonbon's pants. Lyra and Bonnie also love each other, Sunset said, blushing slightly as he figured out what Arya was talking about. So much so, I'd wager if one was a guy, the other would be pregnant by now. I could see that. Anyway, aside from meeting three of your friends, two of which are seconds away from a porno video at practice, what are we looking for? Something that I remembered Lyra mentioned the last time I was talking to her. One of the mundane things they sell in the store is some collectible stuff from things that Mrs. Convergence likes. Sunset wandered over to a display on the far wall. Like stuff from Spellbound, for instance. The display had several items from the series, such as small resin statues of Amelia Grant and other characters as autographed books, and various other bric-a-brac. Oh look, there's Goodwin Azura. Is this a replica of Phoenix Dream? Arya asked as she picked up a box. It is, but it's not what we need, Sunset told her, taking from Arya. Magic isn't going to channel through plastic. It needs a natural pathway to go through. Then she threw it back to her friend, adding, and sorry, but something like that isn't going to work. Then what is? Arya asked. In response, Sunset pointed to a small sign against the wall that read, Collector's Editions Fable at the Counter. Sanaa had already looked and said, I think this is what we're looking for, girls, she said, pulling out a small magic box with golden inlay all over it. The box instantly had some fanciful lettering on it, as well as magical runes that probably spelled out buy more Spellbound merchandise, assuming they spelled anything at all. Lastly, on a small glued-on plastic plaque was a small inscription that said this was number 349 of 500 made. Sunset took it and pulled off the cover, revealing a thin wand sitting on a silken pillow. Taking her hands, he looked it over. Looks like it's made from wood, but it actually feels like granite. It's got some soft heft to it, more like a polished stick wood. Made from hand-carved anagite, Arya read from the box. Then look at the price tag. Well, for as much as someone will have to sell for this thing, I hope, sure as hell hope it isn't plastic. This'll have to do, she said. Let's get going. But first, she walked over to where Lyra and Bonbon were, and with some embarrassment, pulled Lyra's hand out of Bonbon's pants. When this is over, I think we need to have a talk about propriety, she scolded the non-responding pair, before walking back to where Cyrus were. Okay, let's get going now. And of course, probably washed Lyra's sticky hands off. Elsewhere, Katana took a drink of her champagne and smiled, The finest sobriquet yet, my dearest betrothed. Define refilled her glass as they lay there in bed. In a few hours, you will be Empress of all, my dear. How does that feel? She smiled. An eternal empire under us. Dear, there will be those who disagree, of course. A smile came over her face. Allow me some time to crush them. Don't let our pet demon do all the work. He smiled. Oh, I intend to do some crushing of my own, my dearest Katana. After all, if I am to be Emperor of all, then I must be fit enough to be, he told her. Are you fit enough again, my love? She asked, sitting in her glass and getting on top of him. For you? Of course, he said, bringing her body down on him. Elsewhere, Queen could feel it in her bones. Something big was coming. She might have been able to explain what it was when she was other, but she was no longer other, as she now was. Better, sleeker, more everything. Queen looked to Sister, who sat there watching the blinking lights on the wall, and then to Mate, who was too tired from spending himself on them that he needed to rest for at least a while. Queen looked about this place, with strange geometric stones and lights on the walls and strange markings everywhere. When she was other, she would have had ways of identifying this place, but she didn't need that now. This was home. This was all it needed to be. Something big was coming, Queen knew. It would be the first step towards her species' domination of the world. Elsewhere, sitting outside, glowing like a small incandescent star, Sunset said in meditation. From high above, a huge moonbow encircled the natural satellite above, raining steadily down a stream of aqua light towards the girl. If I was asked, I don't think in a million years I'd be able to explain this, Zephyr admitted to everyone around. She really isn't the girl I thought she was she? Neither of us are, Raspberry told him. Somewhere on this planet, I have a counterpart too. She and I don't belong here, but she calls this place home and wants to save it, even if it means her life will be ruined as a result. Everyone looked at Raspberry, then to the glowing girl. Raspberry walked down into the red corridors, looking at the complete muzzlelessness of everything around, and the absolute silence of a world never meant to be. A world likely cacophonic compared to hers. Sitting down next to Sunset, she asked, So how goes it? Without opening her eyes, the flame-haired girl said, I'm lucky. The moon is full tonight, so I'm stealing as much as I can. Unfortunately, without most into the world, there's only a finite amount I could drain. I could try to steal some from the statue holding the portal, but I don't know if that's going to cause problems in the long run. So I'm going to leave that be. She handed her friend a wand and ended the spell, dissipating the aura. It was cool of Healy to cut off a feather, but I don't know how much it's going to help because he's not a phoenix right now. You can still breathe fire. You got no phoenixes here on Earth, so how do you know that they don't look like canaries? Raspberry judged as he gratefully accepted the wand. Okay, you may have a point. But how are you feeling now? I don't know. I want to help you save this world because you're my friend. Sanada seems nice enough, but Arya's a bit standoffish and Adagio. That friend of yours is a complete bitch. Arya will grow on you once you get to know her better. Adagio just feels protective of me, Sansa explained. Trust me, once you get into the fight, they'll back you too. Raspberry nodded. What happens if I can't make it back? Then you come with me and my family, Sunset sighed, assuming I still have one. Tell them who and what you really are, Sonny. If they love you as much as you love them, they'll understand. Remember, I had to tell my adopted parents as well. And it's going to be tough when I meet their children. I have brothers and sisters I have yet to meet, and that's going to be a headache and a half all over again. But one former unicorn looked at the other and said, I hope you're right. You know I am. You're the daughter of Princess Celestia, Sonny. If you're anything like her, you'll succeed. Yeah. Still wondering how I'll tell Mom that not only is my biological mother alive and well, but she's as human as I am. Well, remember the stanza from Discolora's song? Raspberry reminded her, then said, I'm just a pony, of flesh and blood I'm made. I'm only a pony, born to make mistakes. Hey, will you two are done singing Human League songs, am I getting back in here so we can talk strategy? Zephyr asked. The two looked at each other and walked in. Inside, The others were wearing military attire. The sirens were wearing their CAD pads, while Zephyr and Sable had slipped into ACUs. Looking at the two not currently in camo, Artemis suggested, "You two don't have to, but I strongly suggest you two change into the same kind of attire we have." "Well, we do have formal robes as archmages," Raspberry suggested. "Are you kidding? 1. They're ugly as sin," Sunset said, taking out Teresa's arm fingers. 2. They're designed for pony sensibilities, not human ones. The point of pony military gear is to be seen. The point of human gear is to not be seen, so they don't shoot at you. 3. No way in hell am I wearing them." "You sure?" "Positive. You want to walk around with your bare ass sticking out because the tail's not there? That's your call, but not me. Besides, you could change that one by changing out of clothing to match theirs." "Fine," Raspberry said, lifting her wand. One flare was shining a green light, and soon spoiled around the two teens. A second later, they were in duplicates of siren gear. "That looks handy for changing into," Vesper said as he presented 2 gun belts to the girls. "I know one of you's trained on this. Saw Dodger do it herself. What about the other one?" "I've had some practice shooting," Sunset admitted awkwardly as he slipped on the belt. "My brother is a cop, and he took me to a shooting range once to see how guns work. I don't care for them, but I know how to use one." "Good. You'll have 4 magazines in each of the belts. Keep in mind your pistols to be considered a defensive weapon, not offensive. If you've gone through half your ammo supply, you'll want to get out of the area quick, but you're magic to put down the threat. You do not want to be in a long, proactive firefight with a pistol, because they have time, manpower, and extra ammo on their side. Worst comes to, you need to retreat. We cannot afford to lose you two, because you're the only ones who knows how to stop the spell. Got that?" "Crystal!" the other unicorns replied. Irimizo guided them to the table, upon which was a rough drying layer. "Now, we know that we're going to run into opposition here, here, and here," she said, looking at them all. "So our best point is to punch through their funnel. We go through the front gate, then start shooting until we have their attention. That'll draw almost all the red forces towards us. By stopping our vehicle here, we protect the doorway that our 2 specialists can get into." "Doesn't do it. I need to find and save Soleil Simmer," Zephyr told him. "You're a fucking idiot, you know that," Side told him. "We got a little Maho Shoujo's in there, and they should do all the hard work." Everyone looked down. Sunset caught that instantly. "The first priority is the Gorian spell, because we don't know how stable that is," the Flamehair Girl responded. "Once we do that, then we'll go in, take down Divine Right. I don't know if we'll be in time," she admitted, "but saving the world takes priority over the others." Everyone could see the look of anguish on Sunset's face. Sable walked over to her and said, "This is war, Sunset. There are no good answers here. Because when you get to this point, the good answers are gone. I once had to kill boys not much younger than you in order to save lives. I've had to do things I don't like, because other lives were in the balance. And if something happens to Tia, I don't know what I'd do. But I know she couldn't live with being saved if it meant millions of others died." "Sonny, I don't want anyone to die," Raspberry told her, "but I've had to take lives even before I was Archmagus. It's not easy, and it will haunt you. But if others die, innocents or worse, the ones you love, you'll never be able to live with that. I know it's antithetical to our way of life as ponies, but our people are fighting for their very existence on the other side of this portal. And if such situation were different, so humans would too." "Fuck yes we would," Evergreen said with a grin. "There's one thing humanity's too good at. It's hurting people and breaking things." "Now we're gonna break more bodies and their toys, right, sis?" Side said, putting her arm around her sister's waist. Evergreen hugged her sister in response. "Damn straight." "Can't do this without you, Sonny," Adagio told her. Second layer, she sighed, "or without you, Miss High Maintenance." "I'll take that as a compliment," Raspberry replied. "I think." "Okay, we'll make sure that everything's good to go. Then we start tearing up everything," Sunset told him. "We take back this world, take back our loved ones. And when we're done, somebody's gonna learn the hard way why fucking with magic should only be done by a professional." Deep within a dimension beyond space and time, there was nothing but primordial, inky blackness. Shadows cast without light. Something slithered, wet and putrid, within the Ebon. Something screamed with an unnatural sound, followed by a deep, brassy chortle, then a crunching sound of something masticated. "Hehe," You are so immature. Soon the sound was gone, once more as if it never had been. Milky white eyes opened, glowing with a baleful light. Soon, I will be free, the creature thought. There was almost a malicious glee in those words. Soon.